Alright. Oh my god, yes. First we do this. Then we're like, you know what? Let's play it again. Truth is found in death. So at first I was smart. Then I was dumb. And then I go back to being smart. Because I knew I was gonna pop it.
Let's get salty!
Hey everyone, Zeddy here again today with a brand new video. And throughout the history of Hearthstone, there have been several cards that if you basically have in your opening mulligan, you're gonna win the game. Their mulligan win rates can be absurdly high. We have seen it recently with cards like Drek'Thar, which people want nerfed because it has like a 70% mulligan win rate. So today I want to go over some of the most iconic high mulligan win rate cards. Before we get into that, we are just about at 49k, almost like 69 subs away, which is awfully nice. So if you feel like I have earned your subscription and you want to get us to 49k, where I think I'm going to be giving away a couple golden mini sets at least, hit that subscribe button. Let's take a look at the cards that just auto won when it was in your opening mulligan. So starting off, we'll go with Drek'Thar, the card that still has yet to be nerfed, even though there's a patch going live today, later today, which we will cover in tomorrow's video. But yes, Drek'Thar, the 4-mana 4/4, I guess it's the Horde legendary, the Battlecry. If this costs more than every mini in your deck, summon 2 of them. It can get you Puffer Fists, it can get you Lady Athena, it can get you Rust-Rot Vipers. It's just a bunch of stats that's basically impossible to answer in the early game unless you're a warrior with Shield Shatter. The card is absurd, but this diamond version costs like 25 USD, so it is yet to be nerfed. Although I don't think that's actually the reason. I think it'll get nerfed soon, but maybe the real reason is I have 3 regular versions and they just don't want Zeddy to get dust. They still don't like me, and I mean, look at all these copies of this card. Next, we just gotta go with the Demon Seed. Literally, this card, you are playing it at its unnerfed original state when it launched in the game, was so utterly broken. This card got nerfed like I think 13 times, either directly or indirectly, outright got banned from Wild, and was still a meta player in Standard until rotation occurred. Just, you play the Demon Seed, you're just auto-winning games very early on in its run, and I gotta throw that out there as at least a little bit of a joke and honorable mention. Next, I gotta go with Battlefiend. You might be like, wait, you play Battlefiend and you win? Not anymore, but when this card originally came out, it was a 2/2, and Skull Gul'dan was a 5-mana card, and I don't want to remember the days of Ashes of Outland launch, but yes, Battlefiend was a 1-mana 2/2 that would scale and just become you would just die. You would just die if your opponent had the 1 drop into the 2-mana weapon. It was ridiculous. Day 1 Demon Hunter, Battlefiend on 1. I cannot think of a more disgusting opener that you could ever have. If you want to go to OG original snowballing 1 drops that just auto 1 games, by the way, I don't have this golden. I am clean. I've never really played this card. That is Tunnel Trogg, the 1-mana 1/3 Shaman minion. Whenever you overload, gain +1 attack per locked mana crystal. You play Tunnel Trogg on 1, Totem Golem on 2, Coin Feral Spirits. GG, the game was over. This card snowballed and won so many games on its own. Well, I guess you have to have overload cards, but still, one of the most disgusting cards in the opener, and sees absolutely no play at all anymore. Never actually got nerfed, and there's actually another card on this list that never got nerfed, but pretty much all the rest have, but this one, utterly disgusting. Speaking of Troggs, we gotta go with Irondeep Trogg as well. This one's a bit more of a asterisk on it, but the 1-mana 1/2, after your opponent casts a spell, summon another Irondeep Trogg. Originally, this summoned a copy of itself, so if you buffed it up, it would get another version, but basically, you play this on 1 against any spell deck, you won the game. They couldn't deal with it. You have a board full of Troggs, they're dead. It didn't auto-win against board heavy decks, but my goodness, this card just won the game if you were facing a spell deck pretty much whatsoever. Now we're getting to some heavy hitters. We have Luna's Pocket Galaxy. This card originally was 7, and it changed the cost of means your deck to 1, Mage legendary spell, and then it got buffed to 5, and nobody really batted an eye at it. This card seemed like no play. It's like, what's gonna happen? It broke the game. It absolutely broke the game. Luna's Pocket Galaxy Mage, you coin this on 4, play it on 5, you won the game, just cheating out ridiculous minions like Kael'thas. Conjurer's Calling, I believe, was 3 mana at the time, but then got nerfed and then reverted, but still, utterly disgustingly broken card. If you drew pocket early, you were winning the game. This thing was so impactful, so gross. I'm glad they've never put it back to 5 to begin with. Next, we have the Priest card. This is pretty recent, but Switcheroo. And you draw this card and get 2 Murlocs that are basically Deathwings or a Stone Tusk Boar with 40 charge, you won the game. And that's so broken, they had to change it to swap their elf, as well as ban the card outright from Wild. The mulligan win rate on this card in Wild was something like 70 to like 80%. The only thing that held it back is if you drew a Stone Tusk Boar or a Darkness. Other than that, you were basically always winning the game unless there was some hardcore disruption coming your way. And yeah, I'm glad they made some changes to this card because it was just utterly gross and kind of warped the format. Speaking of warping formats, I gotta go with Barnes. I'll honorable mention to the side Kael'thas Sunstrider, which recently got, well, we went over that a million times, got reverted, destroyed Wild, but mainly was if you got it off Barnes in particular, getting out even early would break the game, but also Big Priest having this early with the Yashiraj, whatever, and then resummoning disgusting things like obsidian statues, just game breaking to the point he got nerfed to 5, but even had like Spell Hunter that abused it, where they would just play Master's Call with only Barnes and Yashiraj as their minions. And yes, it was an auto win type of card, came down on turn 4, was like 17 or 13 something in stats, ridiculous, broken, and now at 5, well, it's crazy how 1 mana can make a big difference and make a card a lot more reasonable. Unless, of course, you revert Kael'thas, but why would you ever do that? Another auto-win mulligan card that's pretty recent, just rotated a Wild, is Incanter's Flow. Originally 2 mana, got nerfed twice from 3 to 4, and actually wasn't really that bad. Its first year of existence. It wasn't until last year's rotation where all of a sudden Deck of Lunacy became broken with it. That got nerfed to 4 as well. And the 10 cost spell pool was just disgusting. And this card became ridiculous. So they nerfed Deck of Lunacy. And then they made the quest for Mage. And then the Incanter's Flow became broken again. They had Mazaki as well. And well, it turns out having like minus 25 mana on turn 2 is not particularly healthy. And then you can get another 25 mana. And it was just filthy. And you also had Refreshing Spring Water, which gained you mana because that card originally cost 4 mana instead of 5. And while you drew Incanter's Flow as a Mage, you're basically auto-winning every game. And yeah, it went from 2 to 4 and still to this day sees play at 4 mana even in Wild at times. And the last one I will leave off with is the one that I cannot believe never got nerfed. You took a look at all these cards on this list. I think only Tunnel Trogg did not get nerfed. Every other card on this list, except for Drek'Thar, but I don't want to date myself because there's no way that card's not getting nerfed, right? There's just no way. The kid not let this diamond reason be the reason not to do it. But Prince Keleseth, back in the day, this guy came out at Knight to the Frozen Throne. Nobody really thought again of much of this card. Didn't think it, you don't want to sacrifice your 2-cost minions for a simple deck buff. Because yeah, if your deck has no 2-cost cards, give all minions your deck +1/+1. Why would Rogue not want to run Sap and Eviscerates? And that would be absurd. And Keleseth Rogue in particular was one of the best decks, period. Just unbelievably good. Tempo Keleseth Rogue, you would coin Prince Keleseth, Shadow Step Keleseth, Shadow Step Keleseth, you won the game. But even coining Keleseth would win the game. And it wasn't just Rogue. You had like a Zoo in particular, Warlock used this a lot. There wasn't a lot of 2-drops to play outside of like Nerf Knife Juggler and stuff like that. So you played Keleseth and all your demons and all of your minions were a lot bigger. And even like controlish decks, I saw like big spell mages and stuff like that run this as well. This card was just ridiculous. Your win rate spiked so astronomically high if you had Prince Keleseth in your opener. And yeah, never got nerfed, and I can't recall the last time I've ever seen it in Wild because, well, the stat buffs don't even matter. And now you have cards like Embiggen in the game that you could do that on 0 mana turn 1, and that doesn't even auto win or ever like Prince Keleseth did. So yeah, Prince Keleseth back in the day, one of the most incredibly broken auto win cards of all time. So hopefully you guys enjoyed the list and feel free to share any I may have missed or some you disagree with. And yeah, patch is out later today and hopefully we'll have our patch review live tomorrow. If you enjoyed the video, please like and subscribe. Have a great day and stay salty, my friends.